Welcome back to another video. My name is Austin Zaback, and I'm going to share with you step-by-step my 2023 guide for wholesaling houses, okay? Wholesaling real estate in 2023. And for those of you that don't know, wholesaling, in my opinion, is by far the fastest and the easiest and the simplest way to make money if you're looking to get into real estate investing, okay? And if you're brand new to my channel, I've actually wholesaled about 2,500 houses in my career. I know I might look a little bit young to you, but I've been wholesaling almost a decade now. I got into wholesaling real estate in 2014, and currently my team and I actually do anywhere from 1 to 2 wholesale deals every single day of our career. So I've learned everything as it pertains to wholesaling. I know what works, I know what doesn't work. And in the video right now, I'm going to share with you the step-by-step kind of blueprint or formula to wholesaling real estate in 2023. So whether you're a brand new wholesaler, looking to get a deal, whether you don't even know what wholesaling is, but you want to get into real estate investing, you want to make money, maybe you eventually want to own a rental property, or you want to, you've seen HGTV, you've seen Tariq El Moussa and Chip and Joanna, and you want to flip a house, or you want to get an Airbnb or whatever it might be. I promise you that getting good at wholesaling will literally lead to anything and everything that you want to do as a real estate investor, because it all goes so perfectly together. As a wholesaler, I obviously get to cherry pick my favorite deals, and I get to buy my favorite properties to take down as either a flip or a rental property, and so on and so forth. So before we jump into the video, if you're brand new to wholesaling, I just want to share with you what wholesaling is, okay? So I actually have a definition here. I want to read it to you because I really like the definition that I typed out here. So wholesaling is a type of real estate investment strategy, okay, where the investor or the wholesaler enters into a contract with a home seller, okay? And then what you do is you actually take that contract and you assign that contract to a different buyer. So the wholesaler does not ever actually buy the property, okay? The wholesaler is just getting it under contract with the seller, and then you're turning around and you're essentially assigning your right to that contract to an end buyer. And that end buyer is assuming all the verbiage and the terminology and everything that you agreed to with that initial seller. You step out of the deal entirely, and then the title company or the attorney will pay you out when the deal closes, okay? So wholesaling is obviously very simple. You don't need like good credit to get in. I remember when I got in, I had terrible credit. I actually didn't even really think I had much credit. I didn't have a lot of money, right? I didn't have really any knowledge of real estate at all. I mean, when I got in, I was like 18 and a half years old. And in the last 9 years, like I said, I've done over 2,500 wholesale deals. So anybody can do it, okay? And I'm going to kind of break it down for you here in kind of a step-by-step format of exactly what you need to do to be successful, okay? So the first thing that I would recommend is that you go ahead and you choose your market, okay? You're going to want to do your research and choose your market. Now, what I always recommend for anybody getting into wholesaling is that you start in your own backyard. The only time that I would not recommend starting in your own backyard is that if you live somewhere really weird that doesn't really work when it comes to wholesaling. And how do you know if that's the case, okay? So there's a couple of markets that I would probably stay away from if you're a brand new beginner in wholesaling, okay? I would probably stay away from Chicago. I'd probably stay away from like New York, and really anywhere that doesn't have a lot of investor activity, okay? In order to be successful when it comes to wholesaling real estate, right? Remember, your client technically is the cash buyers. Your clients are the flippers and the landlords, okay? Now, obviously, you have to get them a deal, right? You're a marketer at the end of the day. So you want to know that whatever market you're in is going to support your ability to actually go out there and wholesale. So a couple of things that I would look at, okay? Probably actually about 3 different things that I'd be looking at. Number 1, supply and demand, okay? What is the supply in the market that you're about to get into? And what is the demand, okay? Very simple. You can look that up on Zillow. You could just pull out your phone right now. You could go on Zillow. You could look in your current location. You could filter for sold homes in your current location. Maybe you look at like the last 12 months. and you see how many homes are actually selling in your local market. In particular, what I would be looking for is how many, remodels are selling in your local market. Like when you're looking at that inventory, how many of them look like they were remodeled by a real estate investor, okay? The more houses that you see that look like they were remodeled, the better market you're probably in. You're probably in a market with a lot of investor activity. For example, I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and we're probably in one of the most competitive markets in the entire country by a long shot, right? Which can be good and bad. So you obviously want to make sure you're in a very good market, okay? You want to look at population as well. So that is kind of the other thing that you want to look at. How many people are in that market that you're in, okay? So you want to choose your market, obviously, accordingly. You do not want to get into wholesaling, or maybe you've even done a deal or two, and try to scale a wholesaling operation where, if you want to make $100,000 or $200,000 or whatever it might be per year, you want to make sure that the market you choose is obviously going to allow for that, okay? Very, very important. Hey, really quick, I'm sure you already know, but I've done over 2,500 wholesale deals in my career, and me and my team consistently do anywhere from 1 to 2 wholesale deals a day. If you're looking to get better at wholesaling, or maybe you're brand new, you've never wholesaled a deal, I would actually love to coach you. I would love to mentor you, and I would love for you to be a part of our education program. All you have to do is go to www.flippinsimple.com, or you can find a link in the description down below and book a strategy session with my team to see if you would be a good fit for our coaching program. Again, this is our exact strategy and formula of how we are actually able to go out every single day and do anywhere from 1 to 2 wholesale deals a day. Nobody's talking about what we're doing, and I really look forward to coaching you and mentoring you. So again, go to www.flippinsimple.com. And on that, really quick, before we get into point number 2, you can virtually wholesale. So if you live in a market that you don't think would be good for wholesaling, you can continue to live in that market, okay? You don't need to actually move if you don't want to. You can continue to live there, and you can wholesale in a virtual market. So again, I have a lot of videos on my channel, but I encourage you to watch this video in its entirety. But there are other videos on my channel that'll help you virtually wholesale, okay? Step number 2, you have to find a good deal. You have to be good at finding a good deal. And I love step number 2. And the reason why is if you've ever wanted to flip a house, or you ever want to be a landlord, maybe you've watched videos on YouTube and eventually you want to own 3 or 4 or 5 rental properties and you want to retire. I think, by the way, that is a great way to retire, right? A phenomenal retirement plan. I believe that real estate is going to be a lot better than like a 401k or, something to that effect, okay? So, phenomenal way to do it. The thing you have to remember is no matter what vertical you want to pursue in real estate investing, you have to get good at finding a deal. So it's a beautiful thing about wholesaling, because to be a good wholesaler, you have to consistently be good at finding good deals, okay? So one of the ways, and I'm going to give you multiple different ways that you can find deals, one of my favorite ways to find a deal, and everybody overlooks it, like everybody completely misses the boat when it comes to this, and this is actually how we find probably 30 or 40% of our deals, but again, we're doing a lot of deals, so 30 or 40% is obviously a big number, is right on the MLS, okay? Now, if you're not familiar, the MLS is the multiple listing service, and real estate agents have access to that when they become a real estate agent, okay? So you can actually find great deals right on the MLS, and I don't know why they're in the industry, people overlook it and people aren't thinking about it. But I'm telling you right now, if you look at the MLS every single day, you will find good deals on there. You just have to know what you're looking for, okay? So what I would recommend is that you set up a search and you kind of create what we like to call a buy box, okay? So you'll learn in real estate investing that people call kind of your search criteria your buy box, okay? Now, your buy box will be the criteria that you're looking for. So like for me in Arizona, a good buy box might be under $400,000, single family, detached, 3-bedroom, minimum 3-bedroom, maybe maximum like 5-bedroom, minimum 2-bathroom, maximum, maybe 4-bathroom. In a perfect world, I'm looking for single story, no solar, et cetera, right? That would be my buy box, okay? So anytime a deal will pop up, you will get notified by the multiple listing service that there's a new deal that fits your buy box, that fits your search criteria, and you will be able to look and see if that is ultimately a good deal, okay? Second way you can find phenomenal deals is real estate agents, okay? Now, you're probably thinking, Austin, you just talked about that. No, I did not, okay? Real estate agents, what I mean by that is actually building relationships with real estate agents. And I'm not necessarily saying get the deal off of the MLS. I'm talking about having a real estate agent actually bring you a deal before it actually goes on the market, okay? Now, the more relationships that you build with real estate agents and the more that you tell agents and you kind of get out there and you're talking to them, the more agents will actually bring you the deal before the deal actually goes on the market. Phenomenal way to find good wholesale deals, okay? We find probably, I would say, maybe 8 to 10 deals a month directly from real estate agents every single month, on the month, like clockwork. Okay, one of my favorite ways to get real estate deals by far. Phenomenal way. Highly recommend that you do that. Okay. So you definitely want to do that. So you have to learn how to find a good deal. You can obviously go direct to seller. That'll work too, right? I'm not as big of a fan of going direct to seller. At the end of the day, a seller will only bring you one deal. A real estate agent might bring you a deal a month, right? They might bring you a deal a week. A seller will typically only sell you one deal, okay? So I think direct to seller can be great, and don't get me wrong, we do it in our company. It is one of the marketing channels that we do, but I don't think that direct to seller should be your entire business, okay? I think you would be doing it wrong if you did that, okay? So I think you can go direct to seller. You can cold call. You can call FSBOs. You can do direct mail. There's a lot of ways to reach out directly to a seller, although if you're brand new, my recommendation would be to connect with real estate agents and to find deals on the MLS, okay? It's completely free too, which is what I love, right? It doesn't cost you any money to get on Zillow or Realtor.com and just start calling real estate agents and just say, hey, I'm a local investor in the area looking to buy a deal. Do you happen to have anything available that might not be on the market or that might be on the market, right? I would love to take a look at it, okay? So phenomenal thing. Number 3, okay? You have to get the property under contract, okay? That's step number 3. So you found a deal, okay? Now you have to get the property under contract. Right before you do that, though, I would say I'll add in a little step here. You got to get good at knowing what is a good deal, okay? So I see it's probably one of the biggest mistakes that I see wholesalers make in 2023 is they do not know how to comp a deal, okay? Now, what does that mean? Comping a deal is like underwriting a deal. So think of it like this. Let's just say you're going to go buy a new car, okay? If you're going to go buy a new car, you've probably heard of the thing called Kelley Blue Book, right? So if I'm going to go buy a new, Audi, let's just say, okay, I'm going to go on Kelley Blue Book and I'm going to type in, I'm looking to buy a 2020, Audi. Here's how many miles it has. Here's the year of the car, everything like that, right? Here's all the options that it has. It's got leather, the seats are automatic, it's got a heater, everything that I'm going to tell Kelley Blue Book. And Kelley Blue Book is going to give me a number of what that particular car is worth, okay? So when I'm talking about a real estate deal, it's actually pretty dang similar, right? Now, all Kelley Blue Book is doing at the end of the day is they're determining what the market value is of that particular car based on what buyers are willing to pay, right? Because in life, something is always worth what a buyer is willing to pay, right? This microphone right here is ultimately worth what a buyer is willing to pay for it, okay? I would not pay 50 grand for that microphone, okay? So if somebody tried selling me that for 50 grand, I would not buy it, okay? I would only be willing to pay probably like $500, right, for that microphone, okay? So with real estate, you have to understand how to comp a deal. Before you actually get that deal under contract, you have to know, am I getting the deal under contract at the right price, right? Because if you don't get the deal under contract at the right price, you're never going to be able to wholesale the deal, right? You're not going to be able to find a buyer. My biggest piece of advice for you, if you're taking notes, okay, is to think like a buyer, right? If you're a wholesaler or you're an aspiring wholesaler, you're looking to be a phenomenal wholesaler, you have to think like a buyer, right? What would a buyer be looking to get or to buy the property for, right? So in order to do that, we have to know, okay, how much is it going to cost to repair the property, right? How much are properties going for in that general area that are fully remodeled, right? How much is it going to cost to make my subject property look like that property? And then how much profit do I want to make? And then obviously you have to factor in holding costs. You have to factor in realtor costs. You have to factor in all of the other things associated with buying and selling real estate, okay? So my recommendation for you would probably be to acquire, and it depends completely on the market that you're in, so don't hold me accountable. Depending on the market you're in, somewhere between probably 45 to 75% of ARV is where you want to get the property under contract, depending on the amount of work the property needs and depending on how much money you're looking to make and how much money you think that the buyer will be looking to make, okay? And again, it does depend on the market that you're in and all of the other variables. So that is a very broad statement. You want to do your own research. The best way that I recommend is to call buyers in your area. So just like I was talking about a little while ago in step number 2, you want to call buyers in your area. How are you going to do that? You're going to go to your subject property, wherever your property's at that you think might be a good wholesale deal. You're going to find houses that have sold in that general area, okay, that look remodeled, and you're going to call the buyer. If you need to, you can call the real estate agent and ask the real estate agent, okay? And you're going to have a conversation with them. You're going to say, hey, how much would you be looking to buy another property for in that area, right? How much did it cost you to fix the property up, right? What kind of deal would you be looking to get, okay? So think like a buyer. So back to step number 3, get the property under contract. Okay, there's a couple different contracts that you're going to need. The first contract you're going to need once you've gone ahead and you've determined, hey, I'm looking at a good deal, okay? You're going to need a purchase contract. Okay. Now I'll have a link down in the description down below where you can actually get my purchase contract that we use every single day. Like I said, we wholesale anywhere from 1 to 2 houses a day. So you can go download that for free. Okay. But you're going to actually execute that purchase contract with the seller. Okay. You're going to execute it and they're going to execute it. And then you're going to actually go and you're going to sell the deal, which we're going to talk about in a little while. And you will need an assignment contract when you go to sell that deal. Okay. So with step number 3, really the second part of that, obviously you found the deal. Second part, you got to negotiate the deal. Kind of third part in that is you've got to actually open what they call escrow, okay? Escrow is just basically a title company or an attorney who's going to facilitate the transaction for you, okay? So you're going to open escrow. So the moment that you get the property under contract, you're going to go ahead and you're going to take that contract, you're going to hand it to the title company, or you're going to hand it to the attorney, depending on what state you live in, and you're going to say, hey, I'd like to open escrow, okay? And you're going to deposit what they call earnest money. Earnest money is just like a down payment on a car, right? That will get applied towards the purchase price. Now, since you're not the actual buyer, you'll just get refunded that money when the deal closes, okay? So very, very simple there. Okay, so step number 4. You've gotten the property under contract, you've negotiated it, you've opened escrow, you've done everything that you need to do there, right? Step number 4 is you need to find a buyer. Now, I have a couple of tips as it pertains to finding a buyer, okay? Number 1, you can go and you can link up with another wholesaler that will ultimately help sell the deal, right? They'll bring the buyer for the deal, okay? So, a lot of different ways that you can do that. You can get into Facebook. You can search literally on Facebook. You can go into like groups and you can search, Atlanta real estate investors, Phoenix real estate investors, right? North Carolina real estate investors, whatever, right? And you can link up with other wholesalers and you can say, hey, I'd like to split the deal with you. If you find a buyer, I'd love to partner with you on it, right? Phenomenal way if you're just getting started to sell a deal and you don't have a bunch of buyers. I really recommend that, okay? Another great way is real estate agents have buyers, okay? So those same real estate agents that I was telling you to call and talk to a little while ago, you can go on realtor.com or you can go on Zillow and you can just start calling real estate agents. You can do that same thing and you can let them know, hey, I've got a deal and I'm looking for a buyer. Do you happen to have a buyer in the area? And even a better way to do that would be to take your subject property, find all the houses that have sold around your subject property in the last, let's just say 12 months, right? And then what you want to do is you want to figure out what agents represented the buyer on those deals, and you call that agent and you say, hey, I saw you just sold a house to a buyer, a couple months ago on 123 Main. I've got a deal, a block or two away. I was wondering if they would maybe be interested in buying another property in that area, right? Assuming they're an investor, the odds are obviously very high that they will, in fact, be looking for another deal in that particular area. Phenomenal way to find a buyer. I'm telling you, if you talk to wholesalers and real estate agents, probably 99% of the time, assuming you got the deal under contract at the right price and you understand how to comp the deal or underwrite the deal, then 99% of the time, either the wholesaler or the local real estate agent in that area will most likely have a buyer for your deal. It is ultimately not that hard. Step number 4, find a buyer, does not need to be that hard, okay? Do not overcomplicate it, okay? Step number 5, you found the buyer. Now you're going to go ahead and use what we call the assignment contract, which we were talking about a little while ago, to assign the deal to the end buyer. Very simple. Your assignment contract will typically be a one-page document. Again, link in the description down below if you want to download that. But it will typically be a one-page document. You're going to fill it out. The buyer's going to fill it out. Everybody's going to sign it, okay? And you're going to typically assign that contract for a little bit more money than you have that initial contract with the seller. So I'll give you an example. Let's just say that you have the property under contract for $100,000 with the seller, okay? You're going to maybe go find that buyer through all of the ways that I just told you, and you're going to tell that buyer, hey, I've got a deal for $110,000, right? Now you're going to fill that assignment contract out, and it's going to say $110,000, okay? Everybody's going to sign it. You're going to take that assignment contract, you're going to give it to that title company or that attorney that you gave that initial contract to, and the buyer's going to now deposit their earnest money, okay? Now, the deal, maybe a week or 2 weeks, however long you put for the close of escrow, the deal will close, and you will ultimately get paid, okay? So step number 6 is to get paid, okay? Wait for the deal to close. My recommendation here would be don't count your chickens before they hatch. You never know with real estate. You want to make sure that you're continuing to follow up with your buyer, that you're continuing to have communication with the seller. I see a lot of wholesalers that'll get a deal under contract, they'll open escrow, and then they stop talking to the seller, right? Or they'll find a buyer, they'll get the assignment contract filled out, they'll give that to the title company or the attorney, and they'll just stop talking to everybody, right? Like a month goes by and they don't talk to anybody, and people get derailed and people get irritated and the deal can potentially fall apart, right? I highly recommend that you stay in communication with everybody, that you check in with everybody, you make sure everybody's doing okay, you see if they need anything from you, but ultimately, you just want to make sure you're communicating, okay? And then you're going to wait for the title company or the attorney to send you a check in the mail, or they're going to wire it to your bank account, okay? However you choose, obviously, and that is my 2023 guide to wholesaling real estate. And real quick, before you hop off the video, if you didn't already know, I actually have an education program that teaches you step-by-step how we actually wholesale 1 to 2 houses every single day of our life, and how I've personally wholesaled over 2,500 deals over the last 9 years, okay? So it is called www.flippin'. Well, it's called Flippin' Simple, but you can go to www.flippinsimple.com. I'll also put the link down in the description below. You can book a strategy session with my team to see if you'd be a good fit. Highly recommend that you do that. One of the biggest mistakes that I see wholesalers make is they try to do it alone, right? They don't have a community to plug into. They don't have anybody they can ask questions. They don't have anybody they can talk to, and then they run into a weird situation or they run into something they haven't dealt with before, and they don't really have anybody to plug into, right? And I just highly recommend, if you're brand new or you're just looking for an incredible community, that you check out Flippin' Simple, because at the end of the day, it really is flippin' simple, right? And, I just encourage you not to overcomplicate it, right? Wholesaling real estate does not have to be complicated, so definitely do not overcomplicate it. Thank you so much for watching the video. It would mean the world to me if you would subscribe if you have not already, and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.